Welcome to the Survivor to Thriver show with your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Do you feel stuck, silent, and stressed? Is something hurting your heart and soul? Are you burning yourself out? If so, you are in the right place because this is the podcast people from all over the world join in to learn exactly how to stop suffering and start living with inner peace and joy. Let's get started. Hey, so last episode, I was talking to you about how I personally respond to Islamophobia. I'm a Muslim and I'm living in America right now, and there's a prevailing culture of Islamophobia in America right now. And so it's something that is impacting my life. And I'm sharing with you about this because I want you to see and know that I'm not just saying nice sounding things to you. I'm not just reading these things out of books of philosophy and inspiration and just regurgitating or parroting ideas that I've never practiced. These are really, really critical ideas for us to learn, to understand, and to practice in our lives. And I've been doing so, and I've been reaping the benefits of doing so, right? And it's really, really great, right? Because remember, what we are talking about right now is, okay, we need to maintain a remembrance, remain grounded in our knowing that, hey, diversity, being part of diverse cultures, being exposed to diverse ways of being and doing things, and giving them a chance, trying them out. This is actually something that can be a great blessing for us. It has a potential to be a great blessing for us. And when we remember that, it is a great blessing for us, or it can be a great blessing for us, it helps us to become more tolerant, more accepting, but also ideally more appreciative of difference when we come across it, whether it's difference in terms of the way we think or the way we behave, or just who we perceive ourselves to be. And we started talking about all of this in the context of, okay, one of the reasons why it's so important for us to stay grounded in this perspective and this energy of being appreciative of diversity is so that when we are faced with hate, when we are faced with somebody treating us in a hateful way, in an unjust way, that we nonetheless are able to help ourselves respond to that person with empathy and with compassion, and transform that hate, that anger, that fear that they're feeling into love, into compassion, and into empathy for us as well as for themselves. So this is very, very important. Okay, so I was telling you, one of the very first reminders when I come face to face with someone who is acting in a way that I do not like, because it's hateful, because we have been focusing on Islamophobic. One of the very first reminders that I give myself is that this person still deserves to be loved. This person still deserves to be respected, or at the very least treated with respect, empathy, compassion. And then the second question I ask myself is, what is this person needing right now? What could this person be needing right now? And so, because when you ask yourself, what could this person be needing, then it encourages you and helps you to focus your attention on solutions, on what are the best ways to help me help this person meet their need right now. This is a question that helps you to become more empathetic, right? Because when you're asking, okay, what does this person need? You're trying to understand their perspective. So just even asking this question of, what could this person be needing right now? What are the what are the best ways I can help this person meet their needs right now? It is in fact an application of being empathetic, or striving to be empathetic and striving to be compassionate, right? Because when you think, okay, how can I help this person meet their needs? That is a way of thinking that promotes and is grounded in compassionate principles and values and feelings. Okay, so that is my second step. Now, obviously, depending on what the situation is, I may get different answers to those questions, different action steps that I may find myself needing to take. Of course, ultimately, we can do the very best we can to respond with empathy and compassion towards people. And insofar as we cannot control other people, we cannot control how they think, we cannot control how they feel or act, we may still get a negative response. The other person may still choose to respond to us in a negative way. So another very important thing that can actually really help us to continue to stay grounded in our empathy and compassion and continue to act in the most empathetic, compassionate ways is not only focus on, okay, what is that other person needing? What are they feeling? And what is the best thing I can do to help them? I mean, of course, you want to think about that if you can, the best you can. But also to think about yourself, right? So it's like, okay, to remain conscious of what am I feeling in this moment? What am I needing in this moment? And what do I need to do to help myself in the best possible ways in this moment? And sometimes when the situations are really, really intense, or they really hit you in a hard way, before you can even take the step of thinking about the other person, what is this person needing or wanting, you have to think about yourself and take care of yourself. Now, we have, in the many episodes that I've done for this podcast, talked about many different ways in which you can take care of yourself and help yourself, particularly in moments of crisis. So this is just a reminder that some of the most important things you can do for yourself is don't blame, don't judge, right? yourself. Okay, so allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, to know that there is a good reason why you're feeling the way you're feeling. And just like we did, I said, okay, for the other person, right? You say, okay, what could this person be needing? We say for ourselves, what am I needing? And so a lot of times, what I find when I'm like particularly hit in terms of, like, it hits me really emotionally hit in a hard way by the Islamophobic behaviors towards myself. A lot of times, one of the things I need the most is to just kind of pull back, because that's like part of my personality also, is that to help me take care of myself, a lot of times I need some me time, right? So for me, oftentimes the best thing I can do in the moment is to just kind of not respond to that other person right away, but rather to step back, step away, so I can create some time and space to sort of recenter myself, reground myself, give myself some compassion, treat myself with some kindness. And then if it's still appropriate, if it's still needed, if it's still necessary, I can step back up to that other person and, continue to engage with them. Now, one of the big picture goals of this process is acceptance, is to come to a place of acceptance, to react from a place of acceptance, whatever it is that I'm dealing and facing with. And when I talk about acceptance, I'm talking about accepting in the sense of recognizing that it is what it is, that what happened has happened. I cannot change what has already happened. Accepting, recognizing what I cannot control about a certain situation, and being willing to sort of let go of what I cannot control, to not even actually try to control what I cannot control in a given situation. So accept it in that sense. Accepting does not mean that I just sit by passively or stand by passively and not take action to help myself, or not take action to respond to the injustice, or protect myself from it, or anything like that. Okay? Acceptance, you only accept the things that are out of your control, that you cannot change, and you accept them so that you don't waste your time and energy thinking and worrying about things that are out of your control anyway. You want to free all that energy so that you can refocus it on what can I do, what can I control. And let me focus on controlling what I can control and doing what I can do. Okay, so you want to accept. Now, when we're talking about dealing with other people, you see, you also, our other goal with acceptance in the context of dealing with other people is to accept other people as they are. To accept other people as they are. See, and not try to change them. You don't want to you also don't want to get caught up into blaming and judging. And to say, okay, that person is the way they are. And I'm going to deal with them the way they are. See, so like, especially in a moment where, it's a moment of crisis, when it's a moment of somebody is, hating on me, acting out of fear and anger towards me. That is not the moment for me to be like, if I allow myself to fall into blaming and judging this other person, that'll just get me stuck in a negative spiral, right? Because the way that I think impacts the way that I feel, which impacts the way that I behave, which loops back into impacting the way I behave, and reinforces the feelings, which reinforces the way I'm thinking, right? And it's like this negative loop. So I don't want to get stuck in that, right? So it's like acceptance. So actually, I'll use another word. So there's the goal of accepting people just as they are, okay? But there's also another goal. It's like very, very connected to accepting. And that is the goal of practicing unconditional love. Unconditional love for all, okay? Now, I don't mean love in terms of like that warm, fuzzy feeling. See, because we can't even always control when we experience that warm, fuzzy feeling. We cannot necessarily even control towards whom we experience that warm, fuzzy feelings, because the warm, fuzzy feeling is a result of the way we think and the way we act, right? So it's a result. And so it's, and oftentimes it's a result that's driven or that's stimulated by things that are not under our conscious control, at least not in the moment. It's like, sometimes we see people, like you're just walking down the street, and or you're you're in a room. Let's say you go to a party or something, and there'll be some people that you just feel an almost immediate sense of connection or attraction towards, and other people that you don't. And it's sort of like almost an instinctive response that we are having. Now, a lot of times, see, what happens is that as we get to know people more deeply, we can find our opinions about them changing. Both in a positive direction, but also in a negative direction. So, that's why I say that the feelings that we have are not always under our conscious control, right? At least not in the moment. So to expect ourselves to be able to experience or to generate a warm, fuzzy feeling of love, or a feeling of love in the context of a warm, fuzzy feeling towards everyone unconditionally, that's just not realistic. It's not going to happen. So when I talk about aiming, creating a goal, an intention, and working towards this goal and intention of practicing unconditional love towards all, I'm talking about practicing love towards all in terms of the way we behave towards people and the way that we think about people. So the way we want to think about people at the level of practicing unconditional love is to stay grounded in the knowing that we're all one, we're all interconnected, we're all interdependent, and all that kind of good stuff, right? And then the way that we focus on practicing unconditional love towards everyone in terms of how we act, well, we do that by making a commitment and acting towards people with respect. No matter how they're treating us, we treat them with respect. We commit ourselves to treating them with empathy, with compassion. See? And we do that because we say that, hey, it's not conditional on how you treat me. How I treat you is not conditional on how you treat me. How I treat you is based on how I choose to act and behave towards you that is based on my principles, on my values. See? And my values say that I love for others what I love for myself. That I do unto others what I would have them do unto me. And I want to be always treated with respect. I want to always be treated with empathy and compassion. So that is what I'm going to do for you, unconditionally. Unconditionally, that's what I'm going to do. So that is the way we express our love, unconditionally, and we practice expressing unconditional love towards everyone. Okay, so that is the other big picture goal that is underlying all our efforts. So unconditional acceptance of what we cannot control, what we cannot change, and so we can let it go. Unconditional acceptance of, what is the facts. We don't try to fight with the facts of what the situation is. We say, no, I accept what is, and refocus my energy, so I can refocus my energy on responding to the situation in the best ways that I can, changing what I can change, moving ahead, and exercising, practicing unconditional love towards everyone, so that I am acting in alignment with my values, my principles, particularly in the context of observing the golden rule. Okay, all right, so I'm going to go ahead, wrap up right here for today. And I'm going to end with my usual reminder that, hey, if this is something you find yourself struggling with, please reach out for help and support. And I'm one person you can reach out to. Just go to my website at www.academyofthriving.com. Click on the Contact Us page and you'll see how you can connect with me. So until next time, I wish you lots of peace and joy.